Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin once again. Thank you for support. Okay, big up the CoinsKid crew. So please do follow me on Twitter. Please do get involved in Twitter. The link is in each and every video description. If you've not got Twitter, definitely get involved because there's so much information on there, not just from myself, from lots of other people in the crypto space, tweeting their ideas and thoughts, and you can find good projects on there. So if you've not got Twitter, do get Twitter, install it, and please follow me on Twitter. The link is in each and every single video description. Okay, so I did post this setup on Twitter this morning when I did start noticing this playing out. This is potentially some kind of Adam and Eve double bottom basically down here at the moment, and you can see it's sort of copying this fractal at the moment where we've come down, made this sharp V, and we're sort of creating this sort of rounding bottom right now, coming into resistance. If we start to do something like this over the next few days leading into next week, you could say, okay, well, on the 4 hourly here, that is a major level of resistance, and once you break that, you're going to be in a technical target to the upside, and you measure your technical target from there to there, and you can see that once you break that, you're going to be in for a lovely little pump here up to around about 25382 there for Bitcoin. But obviously it can hit this and roll and come down here and lose this low. So this is a really key low. So what I've did this morning, basically open a long on buy bit, okay, right down here where I noticed this pattern start to come to form here, and your stop loss obviously to invalidate this pattern is there. So it's not a major sort of stop loss, roughly around about 1.2% from the position, and right now we're in a lovely little pump to the upside, and I know a lot of people took that particular trade on, but at the minute it's doing okay. But does it mean it's going to obviously do this like we anticipate? And if it does roll, this is why I have stop losses on this stop loss, because you're invalidating it. Okay, so right now it does look as though we're sort of gearing up for this. We've got this V shape, then we're creating this sort of rounded bottom down here for Bitcoin. If we do start to come up over the next few days leading into next week and we break that kilo resistance just there, you could say, okay, well, this is a beautiful Adam and Eve bottom and potentially some larger W double bottom on the daily time frame. Like I said, you create them sort of patterns the more you zoom out, and if we do break it, you're in for a lovely little pump, and it was a beautiful little long, I think roughly around there I opened it, and then you can say, okay, we're going to at least come up to 55. You're looking at 20% long up, and it's trading the ranges, not necessarily saying, okay, that this is the bottom right now and the bull market's beginning. Not necessarily saying that, because like I said to you, this week I do anticipate, given the historical data here, that we are putting in a low. And so far, I just want to remind you that right now, if I show you Bitcoin this week, out of all the weeks, this week I've been saying specifically this week for a very long time, has had the biggest dump so far this week. I mean, this candle's down a whopping 20% basically this week. So out of all this week, you can see that went down 13%, that was down 11%, that was down 15%. This particular week, we're down the biggest. We've come down the most this particular week. So there's a bit of confluence there to the fact, okay, well, we're dumping this specific week because historical data has showed us that historically this is the bottom week for Bitcoin. If we take a look at the charts here, like I said to you so many times, you've got the moving average 100 MA. I've seen nobody else talking about this, okay? No one specifically saying a time frame. Everyone's giving predictions down there, 14K, 13K, 20K, or whatever. But what I'm doing here, I've tried to find the specific time frame as to the bottom. And, data is telling us that this week it is the bottom. So we have to adhere to that. If it doesn't, then obviously the data's incorrect, and you have to invalidate that data. But so far, the data is showing us that when you get a death cross on the weekly time frame, which was created there, 1 week later you dump, and we've had the biggest dump here since this correction. So there's a little bit of confluence right now that this is some kind of capitulation event here, some kind of big dump, and potentially, if this is the low right now, okay, down at that 1272 which I gave you, if it is the low, okay, and we no longer come lower than this, you can see you bounced off that wick just there, which is amazing. And equally, at this point, when you start to look on the monthly time frame, if we do start to come up from here, okay, and we're creating this foundation, you could potentially see some kind of wick at the bottom like that on the monthly, where you get yourself back above the 55, and when you start to look back in time, you could look at this kind of event. So let's say, for example, I'm right, the bottom's in, okay, again, no crystal ball, no guarantees, everyone's calling for lower prices, and that's what you see at the bottom. You see maximum fear and people calling for even lower prices, okay, they get greedy. Like I said to you, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered, okay? It's the same up here. Everyone was expecting continuation, but I said to you, at this point, you're overextended. You've got to come in for a retracement. If you hold support, you're going to start to come back up, okay? You never did. You lost support and you start to come down. So at this point, you have targets to the downside. This was a target, but you've lost it and you fell for it, and now this is your target and you bounced off it, which is this cluster here, okay? Which is potentially a retest of the previous all-time high, which Bitcoin's never done. So, we are in uncharted waters here. There's absolutely zero guarantees, and obviously, if Bitcoin right now invalidates this data by on the weekly time frame just there, this data, this cross, given a specific time frame as to the bottom, because I'll show you for those that are new to the channel, You've got the 100 crossing the 20 in a negative fashion. Look, there's the week. The week after, you bottomed. You never came back to it. You held the low, okay? You never lost that week low. Whatever that week low was, you never lost it. That's why I'm saying to you, this week, data shows us that this is the bottom. This is the maximum opportunity for Bitcoin. Regardless of the macro environment, the FUD, things like that, Bitcoin does what it wants to do. Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, okay? One thing I said to you here all the time is, the 5-day Gaussian time frame. If we take a look here, it's really difficult to pick bottoms, okay? But sometimes it would indicate it's screaming at you. Like I said to you, if you start to close below the 5-day Gaussian, you're going to capitulate, and we did. Okay, we've capitulated. Now, look back historically, whenever Bitcoin has been red and capitulation and too far and overextended, like I said to you, overextension leads retracement, whenever you're really too far overextended from the Gaussian, you do usually always recover back into it to at least test it as resistance. Look, it's never not done it. Okay, do you see that? So it's never not done it when it's been below it. It's always come back to it to test as resistance. And it's when you close above the median line of the Gaussian, that is when it's all systems go. So like I said to you, at any point in the future, if you're sitting on sidelines, you don't want to catch a falling knife, or you don't necessarily want to time the bottom, there's one event here that when it happens, it's all systems go, and it's simply one thing: 5-day time frame closing above the median line of the 5-day Gaussian after being red and capitulating down there for a series, for a while. Basically, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin has to do this, okay? Bitcoin could do something like this, gather on this bottom. We don't necessarily lose this low. We've just had a retest of this high down there, and you can say, okay, with the bottom's in, and right now we're sort of building a base and coming up pretty much like the previous correction down here. Look at that, where we built this level and we start to come back up, okay? So another thing you could say, until you want to get an entry point right here, is again, this is all data. It's not bullshit. It's not spiel. Not because I want it to go up or down or whatever. It's technical analysis. It's the charts, okay? And I'll teach you everything I can. So right now, the 20 is coming down, okay? You can see you're overextended. You've not tested it in a long time. So if you don't necessarily want to time this bottom, just simply wait for another thing. Wait for another entry point, and that is simply getting back above this 20 EMA, which is crawling right down to you right now. This is shooting down to you. I mean, if I was to go like this, invert the chart, I would not be telling you, and check the videos, check all the videos when I've took projects on. When you're doing this on the EMAs and you're taking off into space, I say to you at this point in every single video, Cardano when I took it on, all the coins, Chainlink, everything, I said to you, really overextended, you're going to slow down. You've got to come back to the EMAs for support, and that's exactly what I think Bitcoin is doing right here. You're slowing down, and I think you've got to come back for support here. You're going vertical on the EMA. This is a major, major sign of overextension or greed or trend exhaustion. Do you understand? So, again, no guarantees, but I think given the fact that, this week, I said to you, we're coming down this week. We're looking to print the bottom this week. We've got 2 days for this weekly close, 5-day close. We've got 3 days for the 2 days, 16 hours for the weekly close. The bottom could be in here. It could be in, and the reason is, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to call it because I don't want to get shot. But you're creating a beautiful reversal pattern down here, a potential Adam and Eve bottom, which gives you a technical breakout target to around about 25k, okay, on the 4-hourly time frame. Now, if that does come to fruition, it means that this is potentially your bottom. I'm not saying in time you come back and retest it, but as long as you do not lose this bottom going forward, then that validation of the data that I've shown you in previous cycles that this is the bottom this week has come true, hasn't it? I don't see anyone else talking about that, and I can't get more simpler than that. It's data. It's not hopium. It's not bullshit. It's not spiel. It's data. It's the charts telling you this. Okay, so anyway, I'm sort of clevering on. I do apologise, but right now, if I get rid of the Gaussian channel for Bitcoin, I just want to show you something I'm looking at potentially. Okay, so on the 4-hour time frame, this is a potential third wave. Okay, and then you start to come from the wave 4, and then you've had your 5th wave dump here. And you come back to retest it in a higher low, which is a bullish reversal pattern just there. This is your low. This is a higher low. So right now, this is a major level of resistance. In fact, it could be some kind of big W double bottom pattern, but you have got levels of resistance to get through. Now, if Bitcoin does lose this low over the next couple of days, okay, I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. You could be looking at this, okay, a minimal 1618 target, you've got 18520, you've got the 1272 at 1939, 19392. But you know, if it does start to roll here and comes down, I think that round about here is your low, okay, this week. And again, no crystal ball, but if we can hold this low, whatever it is going forward, then the data is correct, okay. And I'm adhering to data. I'm not adhering to FUD or macro environment or any outside influence. It's the charts and the data, okay. Do you understand? So, you know, at this point, this would be amazing if the low is in, but again, no guarantees. So on the 4 hourly time frame, let's say for example, this is the low right now. This is the low, you know, and you're building a base here, and you're going to start to come upstairs impulsively and start to create these beautiful retracement levels to at least this high where you came from. Then I'm going to show you a technical target that I'm looking at just there. That's a level of resistance which is 24832. So you could see a little pump to that, which would validate this beautiful reversal pattern, because at the minute this is a high low, sorry, this is a high, there's a retracement to this low, which is basically a higher low. So you come back, you retrace, and right now it looks as though you're trying to come up to take out that one fib. If you start to close above 22968 here for Bitcoin, it means that you're going to have an impulsive move here to the 1618 fib target at 24832. Okay, so again, no guarantees. If we do start to roll and you get the resistance off of 20 here on the 4 hourly time frame, and you hit that and start to come down, then you could say, okay, well, this is some kind of big descending triangle. It's a bearish pattern, and you know, it's not some kind of Adam and Eve bottom, basically, you know. But if you do start to get back above that 20 right there, okay, you start to come up and you retrace quite highly to that, and you start taking out 786 and the 702, the 786 at 22356. If you start to come up and close above that, you could be on the cusp of a breakout here, and this could signal some kind of bottom here for Bitcoin, coupled with the data showing us that historically this week is the bottom, okay. And if it's not moving forward, then it's invalidated, and it means that Bitcoin could be in trouble, okay. So you understand that update. Sorry for rabbiting on, I do apologize, but once again, all this event right here can be traded on Bybit right now. Like I said to you, your stop loss is this low down here. Really tight stop loss from this trade, and currently, you know, it's doing okay. Take care, everyone. Back to another update on Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye bye.